The next subject we're going to take on is an ancient story, if not the most ancient story of all, in the Bible, the story of the creation, Adam and Eve. And we're going to take a different approach as to a possible understanding of the story that is relevant not only for the past, but is now relevant for us today in this day and time.
So we'll begin with quote 59. O thou who hast soared to the realm of guidance and ascended to the kingdom of virtue, shouldst thou desire to apprehend these celestial illusions, to witness the mysteries of divine knowledge, and to become acquainted with his all-encompassing word, then it behoveth thine eminence to inquire into these and other questions pertaining to thine origin and the ultimate goal from those whom God hath made to be the wellsprings of his knowledge, the heaven of his wisdom.
That comes from Gems of Divine Mysteries, and it's written to a person in the Middle East, a Zoroastrian by religion. And he's basically saying that if you really want to get the big picture and really understand the celestial mysteries, you have to go back and see where did it all begin and where is it going. And in knowing that and understanding the mysteries, it makes a much clearer apprehension of what religion is all about.
We continue with quote 60. Therefore, this story of Adam and Eve who ate from the tree and their expulsion from paradise must be thought of simply as a symbol. It contains divine mysteries and universal meanings, and it is capable of marvelous explanations. This is one of the biblical stories of Adam. Reflect until you discover the others.
Now, I'm not going to repeat the one that's in Some Answered Questions. You can go back and read what he said. I'm attempting to find yet another that is not so well known. And I want to draw attention to the divine mysteries and universal meanings. To really gain a true understanding of any of these, there has to be a universal truth that comes out of your understanding of one of these famous stories. So we will move on.
Quote 61. Contemplate with thine inward eye the chain of successive revelations that hath linked the manifestation of Adam with that of the Bob.
The reason I have this repeated again, I want to remind everybody that Baha'i says that Adam is a manifestation of God. And so we have to keep that in mind with the story that I'm going to share with you. The story of Adam and Eve represents mankind leaving evolutionary childhood, the matrix of nature, and being awakened spiritually. This is also entering the age of accountability and adolescence. The main difference is that adolescence involves responsible decision-making. This is where the call of the soul is both in conflict and in harmony with the call of the reptilian desires. Often in colloquial language of trying to understand how the brain works, they refer to the base of the brain that operates your automatic responses that tell you you're hungry, tell you you're thirsty, operate your systems, but also operate your passions. And so this is base to all peoples this is, you might say, your material self and all that goes with it. And then the left side is often referred to as the masculine side or the reasoning side, where things are in sequential order, where we organize things, our language and everything is centered on the left side. Now this is very general, but just to give us an idea. And on the right side is our artful side, where we connect the dots, where we have emotional responses to what we see or come to conclusion of. Hence we fall in love more with the right side of the brain than we do even the left side. But we also get involved when we are meeting the one we care about. We have our reptilian response, like, wow, isn't she cute? Or whatever goes with it. Now, I just want to bring this out because this is real life, and the story of Adam and Eve goes right back to the beginnings where the action is. So now you can see this. I'll just give you an example. The sex drive is a legitimate drive. And the reptilian part responds when we see, particularly men, when we see something that is appealing to us, we get a response. But if we're thinking, we also notice with the left side of the brain that she fits within, or he fits within, the context of acceptability from a reasonable standpoint. But then on the right side, fire of love is born, and something even mysteriously that we don't always understand why this person means so much to us. This is all three working together. Now, when we do things for purpose, for God's purpose, we could say we engage the third eye, where the cerebral cortex lies, and it integrates all of it. And when they all fit together, you say, that's the one. All right? Now, I want to point out that the feminine side, represented by Eve, which, by the way, the term Eve actually means soul in its original language. The snake represents our baser nature. Adam is represented over here on the rational side. So you have Adam, Eve, and the snake. All and God guiding the right thing. Adam is the prophet saying certain things. So I want you to get the picture. This is all that's involved in the story. It is a challenge between a spiritual, purpose-driven life and a life of self-centeredness and passionate attachment to the things of this world as one's purpose. This is the challenge. Basically, the reptilian brain is only concerned with passion and reproduction. It doesn't have a vision of purpose. It just wants to get the job done. The part of us that the feminine side wants to reproduce for the purpose of having children and to have a family. And Adam is over here trying to make a decision as to, because he's heard the voice of God say, now there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. Everybody is challenged with this at puberty. And since the story of Adam is the beginning of puberty, the first thing that he's challenged with as a decision-making being is the snake is telling him, wow. But the feminine is saying, but for a good reason, not just because you feel that way, but it's on this. And they get together, the love of reproduction for the purpose of having children, the lustful side of the reptilian, and here's Adam, but he's got to remember one thing. God has already said, not now. Not appropriate now, i.e., you're not doing it for the right reasons. You've got to do it because you see that what God wants you to do it and why he wants you to mate. And that's why, if you go back to the tree of knowledge, it's actually a tree of carnal knowledge. And here's the thing behind it. If you go on and read, it says, and so Adam knew his wife and she conceived a child. That's what the tree of knowledge is really about, having to make a decision. Now there were two trees. There's the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. The tree of life represents the purpose of life. They're chased away once they make a mistake and they start using their passions as the purpose. I mean, that's what they're involved in. They're forbidden to make that the purpose of life. God drives them away. Don't make this the purpose of your life. But they conceive two children, and that's what we're going to get into. Another way of understanding that this story is something that's going on in every human being's life. But I'll finish this part of it. One is God approved. In other words, when we do things for a spiritual purpose, marriage, commitment, building a family that is to be the solid foundation of a beautiful society of the future, this is God approved.